Chapter 11 Modals. Apart from words that show actions, walk, talk, skip, shout, etc., there are some words that help in the formation of different tenses, passive forms, interrogatives, and negatives. These words are called auxiliary or helping verbs. The most commonly used auxiliary verbs are am, is, was, have, and do. There are some other helping verbs that are used along with verbs to express or indicate permission, possibility, certainty, and necessity. These words are called modals. Let's learn modals. Modals, also called as modal verbs, modal auxiliary verbs, modal auxiliaries, are different from action verbs such as sing, walk, talk, give, etc. Some of the most commonly used modals are can, could, may, might, will, would, shall, should, and must. Modals are placed before main verbs. The different characteristics of modal verbs are as follows. They never change their form. They do not take s, ed or ing form. For example, he speaks Chinese. He can speak Chinese. She comes by 8 o'clock. She should come by 8 o'clock. They are always followed by an infinitive without to. For example, he can to speak English. Incorrect. He can speak English. Correct. They cannot be used in the past or future tenses. For example, we will can have dinner at Tiffany's. Incorrect. We will have dinner at Tiffany's. Correct. She must have studied hard. Incorrect. She had studied hard. Correct. Let's learn the usage of modals. Modal verbs are used to express different functions such as possibility, permission, ability, obligation, suggestion, advice, offer, promise, wish, dare. Possibility, could, might, may, can. The modals could, might, may, and can are used to show that something is possible in the future but not certain. For example, if I don't hurry, I could be late. She might come later. He may come by an auto rickshaw. To show that something was possible now or at some time in the past, for example, it might have rained today. They may have arrived minutes ago. To make general statements explaining about what is possible. For example, it can be very hot in summer. You can easily win the game. Permission, can, could, may. The modals can, could, and may are used to ask for something in an informal way. For example, can I get those sandwiches? Can I go home now? To ask for something in a formal and the polite way. For example, could I ask a question, please? May I come in? To grant permission in an informal way, for example, you can go home now. You can borrow my jacket. To grant permission in a formal and a polite way. For example, you may go home now. You may borrow my jacket. Ability. Can, could. The modals can and could are used to talk about a person's abilities or skills. For example, he can swim like a fish. She can't sing well. To talk about the skills or abilities of a person in the past, for example, by the time she was 12, she could speak 3 languages fluently. The burglar couldn't get in through the window. Obligation, must, have to, should. The modals must, have to, and should are used for a strong obligation, which means it is necessary to do. For example, I have to return home by dusk. Students must arrive on time. For a mild obligation, which is more like an advice. For example, You should visit them in their hour of need. You should have saved some money. Suggestion and advice: should, ought to, must, have got to, had better. The modals should, ought to, must, have got to, and had better are used to offer suggestions and advice. For example, you should try to strike a balance between emotion and practicality. You ought to show your report card to your parents. You must not drive across the desert after dark. You will have to call your mother tonight. You have got to complete the presentation by this week. You had better take an umbrella with you. Offer: can, could, will, shall, may. The modals can, could, will, shall, and may are used to express an offer. For example, can I get you a chair? Shall I accompany you? I will make you a cup of tea. I could give you my phone. May I carry your bag? Promise: will, shall. The modals will and shall are used to give assurance or to convey some kind of promise. For example, I will join you for lunch at your place. Promise. You shall be provided with the best facilities in the hostel. Assurance. Wish, may. The word may is normally used to express a wish. For example, may God bless you. May she realize her false apprehension about him. Dare. The modal dare is mostly used in negative sentence and questions. For example, I don't dare climb the tree. Do you dare to challenge him to a fight?